Today just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly.
The scene begins with a sense of urgency as the whispers of a dramatic late-night raid at the Metropolitan Detention Center ripple. Through the headlines, Diddy Combs, once a titan of the music industry, now finds himself not in the glow of lights, but under the harsh fluorescent glare of a federal lockup. The prison walls, notorious for their grim reputation, have already taken their toll on the once vibrant mogul. But this latest twist, it's enough to make jaws drop. Federal agents storming into his cell, searching for incriminating evidence that could tip the scales of his already
Diddy has been for months now, but last week he was taken to the hospital. According to reports from the New York Post, Diddy was transported from MDC in the cover of darkness at about 10 p.m. on January 30th. He was taken to a Brooklyn hospital for an MRI after reporting issues with his knee.
The timing of the raid was no coincidence under the cover of darkness, when most prisoners were confined to their cells, and the facility was at its eeriest. Authorities swept into Diddy's small, dreary quarters. What they were looking for and what they found are now the subject of intense speculation. Reports suggest that their aid was triggered by a tip, possibly from within the prison itself. An informant who claimed Diddy was hiding something explosive, and we're not talking about contraband snacks or hidden luxury item. No, this was far more sinister. Word began to spread that during the raid, authorities uncovered what they're calling forbidden evidence. Allegedly, among the items seized were handwritten notes and documents that prosecutors are painting as a roadmap to obstruction. The papers reportedly included names of witnesses, insiders, and perhaps even former associates, accompanied by vague but chilling annotations that insiders have described as instructions. Were these notes an attempt to silence potential testimonies through bribes, coercion, or worse? That's the haunting questions whirling around this case, now legitimate.
Legitimate concern. No judge wants to wake up and read the headlines the next day. Oh, they treated this guy special and they gave him bond, and now he's gone and he fled from justice. So that's what's in the back of most judges' minds. On the other hand, we deal with cases where clients have significant funds sometimes, and sometimes where there's money, you can craft a unique solution. Years ago it was the ankle bracelet and the ankle monitor.
Diddy's deaf team is having none of it. They've come out swinging, calling the search a blatant violation of their clients' rights. According to his lead attorney, Mark Agnifilo, the entire operation reeks of overreach. What we're seeing here, his lawyer declared in an impassioned press statement, is nothing short of a desperate act by the government to demonize Mr. Combs. This search was not only illegal, but intended to prejudice public opinion against him. Agilo has vowed to fight the admissibility of the evidence in court, even as prosecutors argue that what was uncovered proves Diddy's ongoing threat to the justice system.
That with all the money he has and all the resources he has, they couldn't craft some solution that lets him be under some form of house arrest. And again, it sounds like special treatment, but the truth of the matter is, to incarcerate somebody like him is expensive to all of us. We're taxpayers, and he's got to have unique situations. You can't put him in general population where, everyone wants a piece of him and everyone wants to be his friend and everyone.
And the stakes, they couldn't be higher, with Diddy's trial looming. Every move, every discovery, every twist in this case as another layer of tension. Federal prosecutors are doubling down, portraying him as a man who will stop at nothing to protect himself. Even if it means targeting those who might testify against him, they argue that the seized notes substantiate their claim that releasing Diddy on bail would be far too dangerous. This is a man with unparalleled resources and influence. One prosecutor was quoted saying he's not just a flight risk, he's a risk to the integrity of this entire trial. Meanwhile, inside the walls of the Metropolitan Detention Center, the atmosphere is said to be electric with speculation. Inmates are talking, guards are whispering, and the tension is palpable for a man who has commanded the world's attention with his charisma and talent. Diddy now finds his every move scrutinized through the lens of suspicion, and it's not just the authorities he has to worry about. Rumors have been swirling for weeks that his presence in the facility has caused friction among other inmates, whether it's jealousy over his fame or resentment over perceived special treatment. Diddy's time and lockup has been anything but peace.
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the SHU have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there.
Adding fuel to the fire are reports of the appalling conditions at the detention center itself. The Metropolitan Detention Center is no spaghetti. It's a harsh, unforgiving environment that has been described by former inmates as a living nightmare. The cells are cramped, the food is barely edible, and the general atmosphere is one of relentless tension for someone like Diddy, whose life used to revolve around luxury and comfort. The adjustment has been extreme. Observers have noted that he appears visibly thinner and more aged in his recent court appearances, a stark contrast to the polished image he once maintained. And then there's the issue of safety. The Metropolitan Detention Center has a reputation for being one of the most volatile detention centers in the country. Violence among inmates is reportedly not uncommon, and the facility has faced scathing criticism for its lack of adequate staffing and oversight. Diddy's lawyers have argued that their client's high-profile status makes him a magnet for trouble. He's a target one. Them said everyone knows who he is, and that puts him in a uniquely vulnerable position. Recent reports have even suggested that Diddy has been refusing the prison's meals out of fear they might be tampered with, a claim that, while unverified, underscores just how dire his circumstances might.
They're going to try to transfer him. They're going to try to get him out. You know, in a normal case where it's a high-profile person or a well-funded person, the prosecution and the judge is a little bit more concerned about a wrongful prosecution, because people that are mad that they're being arrested for a crime they didn't commit can turn around and file for malicious prosecution.
The raid has also brought renewed attention to the broader conditions at the Metropolitan Detention Center. This isn't just a story about one man's fall from grace, it's a window into the grim realities of America's federal prison system over the years. The facility has been the subject of numerous exposés detailing everything from inadequate medical care to outright brutality. In one infamous incident, a power outage left inmates in darkness and freezing temperatures for days. Diddy's team has been quick to highlight these issues, arguing that keeping him in such conditions is not only inhumane, but also detrimental to his ability to prepare for trial. And then there's the question of motives. Why would federal authorities launch such a high-profile raid? Now, just months before the trial, some insiders believe it's a calculated move to keep Diddy on the defensive, forcing his legal team to fight battle on multiple fronts. Others speculate that the timing of the search might be linked to new developments. In the case, perhaps a new witness coming forward or a fresh lead that prompted investigators to dig deeper. Whatever the reason, one thing is clear: this case is only getting more complicated.
Every jail is bad, and some jails are worse than others. And the problem, again, is if you move him, why is he getting special treatment? And maybe he's earned special treatment. Maybe what he's done, maybe he's given so much back to his fans and to the world and to charity that maybe there's a way that it plays out in the end. But Again, to go into court and say this jail is bad, move them to another jail, is not your first argument. That's sort of the...
As the drama unfolds, attention is also turning to the broader implications of what's at stake. Diddy's case has already sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, with many wondering how far-reaching the fallout could be could this raid uncover. Links to other high-profile figures. Are there skeletons in the closet that have yet to be revealed? The seized notes, if they prove admissible in court, could potentially open a Pandora's box of allegations and connections that extend far beyond the money. At the center of the storm, for now, Diddy remains locked up, his world reduced to a small cell in a facility that's been described as hell on earth. The man who once ruled the music charts and dominated red carpets now faces a legal battle of epic proportions, with his freedom and possibly his legacy hanging in the balance. And as the public watches this saga unfold, one question looms large: is this the beginning of the end for a once untouchable icon? Or will he find a way to reclaim his...
This alone, do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
No one wants him mentioned.
As the dust settles from the raid, one thing is certain: the story is far from over. The tensions, the allegations, the questions, they're all building towards something bigger, something potentially explosive. And as we delve deeper into Diddy's desperate
struggle for safety, the plot only thickens. What's really going on behind those prison walls? What secrets are being kept? And who stands to gain or lose the most? Stay tuned, because the drama is just getting started. The tension surrounding
Diddy Com's incarceration.
Thought Diddy would be throwing all his celebrity mates under the bus.
I mean, that could potentially be coming when it's time for court and when it's time for him to testify. But what we're seeing right now is how important public relations really are to Sean Combs. He's desperately trying to control the narrative behind bars, allowing his attorneys to do documentaries.
Let's start with Diddy's relentless push for Barley on the surface. His legal team argues that the Metropolitan Detention Center is no place for someone of his stature. But dig a little deeper and you'll find whispers of something much darker. Insiders claim that Diddy isn't just desperate to escape the grueling conditions of the detention center. He's fighting to protect himself from threats lurking within the prison walls. Some suggest these threats aren't just physical. Allegedly, Diddy is terrified that certain individuals, former associates, and insiders might be using his incarceration as an opportunity to turn against him. The rumors swirling around this case are enough to keep even the most seasoned legal teams on edge. Think about it. Diddy has spent decades building an empire. He's navigated the highs and lows of the music industry, forged relationships with powerful figures, and created a brand synonymous with success. But with that kind of influence comes a hefty price. According to sources close to the case, Diddy believes some of his past allies are gearing up to testify against him, and here's where it gets truly wild. There's speculation that he's been planning ways to ensure their silence, whether it's through persuasion, intimidation, or something else entirely. These allegations paint a picture of a man willing to go to extraordinary lengths to protect himself.
This is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, I mean, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in the jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's facing and the weight of the federal government.
And adding another layer of complexity to this saga are the allegations that Diddy has dirt on other high-profile figures. According to unconfirmed reports, the Mobile has kept a trove of of secrets from his years in the entertainment industry. Secrets.
What his team is trying to do is get the public to assume that the government is leaking some of this negative information about him, like that Cassie video. But the reality is, he's got a lot of enemies.
At the same time, Diddy's legal team is working tirelessly to counter these narratives. They argue that their client is being unfairly demonized, pointing to his philanthropic efforts and contributions to the music world as evidence of his character. In a recent statement, one of his attorneys said, Sean Colmes is not the man these prosecutors are trying to portray. He's a father, a businessman, and a humanitarian. To suggest he's capable of such actions is not just wrong, it's outrageous, but convincing a jury. And the public of his innocence will be no easy task. The prosecution, for its part, isn't backing down. They've painted Diddy as a man who's used his wealth and influence to evade accountability for far too long, in their eyes keeping him behind bars.
I think it's to be expected, just the shock of this and the questions about what is ahead of us. I mean, how long is he going to be in custody? Is this an R. Kelly situation? Is he going to not get out for a number of years? Is he going to end up serving a long-term prison sentence from this? Or does he have a chance of beating these charges at a trial that could come, within the next 2 years?
Years as this saga unfolds, the public is left with more questions than answers. What's really driving Diddy's desperate push for bail? Are the allegations against him rooted in truth, or are they part of a larger effort to bring him down? And perhaps most intriguingly, what secrets might he be holding on to, and how far is she willing to go to protect them? For now, all eyes remain on the courtroom, where the battle for Diddy's future is just beginning, with his trial set to take place in the coming months. The stakes couldn't be higher, and as new developments continue to emerge, one thing is certain: this is a story that's far from over. Will Diddy manage to clear his name and reclaim his position as a cultural icon, or will this be the final chapter in a career that once seemed untouchable? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure: this is a drama no one can afford to look away from as the dust settles from the raid. One thing is certain: the story is far from over. The tensions, the allegations, the questions, they're all building towards something bigger, something potentially explosive. And as we delve deeper into Diddy's desperate struggle for safety, the plot only thickens what's really going on behind those prison walls, what secrets are being kept, and who stands to gain or lose the most. Stay tuned, because the drama is just getting started. What do you think about the allegations that Diddy is planning to silence witnesses? Do you believe he has incriminating evidence on other celebrities? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this unfolding saga. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.
He will be sued, and I say will be because nothing has been filed yet, by at least 120 people in the next 30 days.
Let's not forget the psychological toll this is undoubtedly taking on Diddy, for a man who spent decades living in luxury. The stark reality of prison life must be a shock to the system. Observers have noted his visibly altered appearance during recent court hearings, describing him as thinner and more subdued, while his legal team insists he's focused and determined to fight the charges. There's no denying that the weight of his circumstances is beginning to show. But even as Diddy faces his mounting challenges, one thing is clear: he's not giving up without a fight. His legal team is reportedly exploring every possible avenue to secure his release, including filing new motions and appealing previous rulings. They're also working to discredit the evidence against him, arguing that much of it is based on hearsay and unreliable accounts.
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.